Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang kami hormati perwakilan dari Kedutaan Besar Australia di Indonesia, perwakilan dari Tripatri FAO, OIE,
like to use this opportunity to introduce to you the concept of oral vaccination of dogs against rabies. I guess by now we have all heard about this global plan of eliminating dog-mediated human rabies by 2030. We think we can do it by eliminating it at its source by vaccinating dogs, the single most cost-effective method available. And these mass dog vaccination campaigns have been extremely successful in many parts of the world, and sometimes by using central point vaccination, and in other areas by going door to door. For all these campaigns, achieving a high vaccination coverage is the most important goal. In many areas, however, we do have a lot of free roaming dogs. And how do we reach these free roaming dogs with our syringes? And don't forget, these free roaming dogs play a very important key role in the transmission of rabies. Now we can try to catch these animals with nets or pole sticks and then vaccinate them by the parental route. But there are several disadvantages associated with this so-called capture, vaccinate, release method. First of all, they're very cost and labor intensive, There are also certain animal welfare issues, and most importantly, they become less effective with time due to the increased wariness of the dogs, making it more and more difficult to catch them during subsequent visits. So the big question, is there another method available for reaching these inaccessible dogs? Yes, oral vaccination against rabies. Here, a sachet filled with a vaccine is incorporated in a bait and offered to the animal. Now, how does this work in detail? Simply, after you offer the dog a bait, it will start eating it, chewing on it, and with its teeth it perforates the sachet and the vaccine is released in the oral cavity and then taken up via the tonsils and the mucous membrane, presented to the immune system. Sounds almost too simple to be true. But it really works. The concept of oral vaccination was originally developed for foxes. This medium-sized wild carnivore is the major reservoir species for rabies in Europe. We do not have dog-mediated rabies anymore. And as you can see on the map on the left, in the 1980s, fox-mediated rabies was widespread in Europe. We had years that more than 10,000 cases were reported. And as you can see in the graphic in the middle, during the 80s, when more and more countries started implementing oral vaccination, the number of rabies cases decreased rapidly. And in 2017, actually, we did not have any case of fox-mediated rabies reported in Central and West Europe. So after these initial successes in Europe, people start wondering, well, if it works for that red fox, why wouldn't it work for that free-roaming dog? And of course it does. The concept of oral vaccination is based on three components or three pillars: the vaccine, the bait, and the distribution system. They're equally important. For the vaccine, it should not only be highly efficacious after a single dose, it should also be safe, not only for the dogs, but also for the other animals sharing the same environment as the dogs, and this includes humans as well. The bait should not only be highly attractive, but it should also ensure timely release of the vaccine in the oral cavity. And finally, the bait distribution system should optimize bait availability to the dogs, but meanwhile limiting non-target species contact with the vaccine virus, including humans. So now to go to certain topics of the oral rabies vaccination. In the last slide, I finished off with safety, especially human safety as well. Why is safety such an important topic when it comes to oral vaccination? Well, simply all oral rabies vaccines are based on live replication competent viruses. Secondly, dogs and humans share the same environment and have subsequently a lot of contacts. Therefore, human safety of the vaccine is also a very relevant topic. Fortunately, OIE and WHO have written down several recommendations and minimum safety requirements for such oral rabies vaccines to be used for dogs. So you can simply look up the information in these manuscripts and then check if your candidate vaccine meets all the minimum safety requirements.